What deck will win YCS Pasadena? What deck will take home the prize? So YCS Pasadena is about a month away, and due to some delays, Grand Creators will not be playable during that YCS. So what does that mean? It means that cards that are legal now will be the same cards that will be legal during YCS Pasadena. No more, no less. So what deck will win YCS Pasadena? Since I don't have a time machine, I will tell you what my top choices are to win that event. If you haven't already, click that like button, it helps this channel out a lot. So let's begin. For my top 5, I have B Trooper. This deck not only got into the top 32 of the NA Remote Duel YCS, but it managed to get second place in the European Remote Duel YCS. It has a searchable Kaiju. It can also run Retaliating Sea in the main, which is a Macrocosmos. Plus, this deck takes full advantage of the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer package since it has so many extenders. People have been sleeping on this deck for such a long time, and now people are starting to realize that this bug deck cannot be squished so easily. And now for my number 4, I have Skystriker. Skystriker is also another deck that takes full advantage of the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer package. Plus, they have added benefit of being able to run cards like Mystic Mine and There Can Only Be One, which are two of the best cards of the format. Plus, now they have the option to go first or second, since some people are opting to run the Artifact Ignition and Scythe on the main, so they are able to cripple their opponents by locking them out of the extra deck. Ray is Bay, so you can expect to see Skystriker at the top tables in this upcoming YCS. And now for my number 3, I have Dogmatica. A friend of mine once told me, if you want to fully stop a Dogmatica deck, you need to have at least 3 Ash Blossom in your opening hand. But since you can't activate 3 Ash Blossoms in one turn, then it's just not possible to stop this deck. This deck has some of the best 1-card starters in the game: Meltdown, Nadir Servant, Fusion Destiny. Plus, also they run 3 Prosperities in the main, so the consistency is through the roof. You can expect Alistair to be normal summoned a lot during this event. But now for my number 2, I have Lyralisk Tri-Brigade. This is one of the few decks that's able to build a board strong enough that not even a Droplet / Dark Ruler No More is enough to stop this deck. They can do so by having Oath in the graveyard, which is able to stop a face-up spell or trap card your opponent controls and negate that effect, or they can run cards like Harpy's Featherstorm that can stop all monster effects for an entire turn. This deck is great at going first, but also great at going second, by going into cards like Recital Starling or Assemble Nightingale and OTKing the opponent, or simply by making Zeus. This deck is a powerhouse. You can expect the birds to be out of the cage during this upcoming YCS. But you may be asking, what deck could possibly be stronger than this? Well, before I tell you what my number 1 pick for this event, let's go through some honorable mentions. Dragonlink. Dragonlink never dies. There are a lot of people in the lab working on the correct ratios for this deck. What is holding back Dragonlink is that Droll is on almost every single either main deck or side deck, and Droll can be a turn skipper for this deck. But you can rest assured that dragons are good enough to top any event, so you better not take them lightly. For another set of honorable mentions, I have Drytron and Phantom Knights. I have both of these decks in the same category for one reason: they both auto lose to Protos. I will not be putting any decks in the top 5 that auto lose to the most popular deck right now, but they are both great decks at going first, since they can set up a good enough board to make their opponents surrender. If Protos was not legal for this event, then both of these decks could easily go on the top 5 since they are powerhouses. And lastly, for my last honorable mentions, I have Prank Kids. One Prank Kids deck got into the top 16 of the European Remote Duel YCS. Prank Kids is still a powerhouse. They're able to main deck or side deck cards like There Can Only Be One, Mystic Mine, and Skill Drain. The only reason why I don't see it topping is because a lot of pilots of this deck just kind of gave up on the deck after Meow Meow got limited, but you can rest assured that these kids are not playing around. And also, before I get to my number one pick for my top 5 decks for the upcoming YCS Pasadena, don't forget to click that subscribe button. It means the world to me. So now for my number one pick for YCS Pasadena is sourceful. Not only did it get first place at the European Remote Duel YCS, currently in the top 16 North American YCS, 9 out of the top 16 decks are sourceful. This deck is the king of consistency. It has close to 0 bricky hands, plus it has a searchable VFD, also known as Protos. I won't be surprised if this card gets banned in the future, but it will be legal during this event. Plus, when it gets to go second, it has some crazy cards like Vishuddha and Baksha, which are able to break almost any board. This deck will be the most popular deck at the event, so you better be prepared to face the scary monster called Protos. Now that will wrap up the video. What are your top 5 choices for the upcoming YCS Pasadena? Leave a comment below. I want to know. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. This is Yara here, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.